Alright, what is up traders? Hope everybody's doing well. Today is a different kind of video. I'm going to be doing kind of how I come to the charts every single day from A to Z, what I do, what I mark out, how I mark it out, and kind of the whole process of pre-market open and then during market open, and then how I look for a trade, what I look for, and all that kind of thing. So this is going to be a longer video, so if you're kind of the person that wants to just see a trade recap, this is not going to be it. This is going to be a more extended version of that, kind of playing the whole part ever since pre-session, marking out my main levels. So it's going to be very good for someone who wants to learn and very beneficial. So this is me coming to the session. I usually coming to the session about around 9 o'clock. Today was a little bit earlier that I came into the session, just simply because I wanted to give myself a little bit more time to record the video. So this is I edited the whole thing, so it's ready to go. So first thing I do is I mark out the 414 close, right? I have it marked as the 415 because I like to round it up, but it's the 414 close. I mark that out, and then I mark out the new day opening gaps. So I mark out the new day opening gaps of the current day. So mark those out. So first thing, the 414 close, the new day opening gap, and then I go on to mark out the liquidities, right? Session liquidity, I start off with London liquidity, London highs and lows. So you'll see here marking out London low, right? And then I'll look for London highs and I'll mark that out. Usually when it's swept, I won't mark it out, but for the sake of this video, I think I do just mark it out and then remove it. So London high, marking that out like so. So first of all, 415, 414 close, new day opening gap, and then the session highs and lows, the London specifically, and then I start to mark out the liquidity in terms of equal highs like that, buy side liquidity equal lows. So I start to mark that out for both ES and NQ for me to spot SMTs and all that. So here marking out the same liquidity, London lows and highs on ES. Right, making sure that we have the same structure on both, and then if I notice any SMTs, which in this case you'll see there is an SMT right here, right? So marking that SMT where ES swept that high, NQ didn't. So you have a double top on NQ, but not a double top on ES because ES swept that high, and then NQ didn't. So that's an SMT, marking that out, noticing that. And then in terms of the London lows, both not swept, and then both have trailing sell side liquidity right here, right? See that, and then see that. So both have trailing sell side. I'm noticing that, and then also I do mark out this sell side right here on the 15-minute as well, which is these two lows, right? So all I'm doing is just looking for liquidity in a form of the session highs and lows, which is London session highs and lows, and then equal highs and lows in terms of double tops, double bottoms, all that kind of stuff. Now I'm going top down analysis. So daily chart, looking where we're at the daily chart, seeing if there is any major daily liquidity above or below, major fair value gaps, order blocks above or below. Just looking at that, getting a gauge onto where we're at. For our chart, we can see clearly we're in a bullish trend. We've retraced into a 4-hour fair value gap, keeping that in mind, which is higher time frame bullish, right? So keeping in mind that we are higher time frame bullish, right? But then we drop to the 1 hour, you see a lot of trailing sell side, and that is where the session bias comes into play, which is short-term bearish, and then higher time frame bullish. So I'm just cleaning up the chart from previous days. Right, so now I've pretty much marked out the main areas and where my interest is, and now here you'll see me type out kind of what my bias is kind of coming to life, which is that I'm more bearish, right? So from this it looks like we are bearish, right? London lows are on target, so bearish for now. See, target for now, because you don't know what happens, you don't know what price is going to present. So for now, that is my target. And now, once I'm done with the kind of bias, right? So marking out the sell side liquidity, I want to see target, and then also just simply wait for my macro, or I'll come on just right before macro, like 9:35, to kind of mark out and see where price is at, mark out the 9:30 value gap, which you'll see right now in a bit. So now I think I'll type out we wait for macro. Give it a couple of seconds. Again, this is going to be a longer video, so, and then spoiler alert, there's no trades that were taken today because today's price action was absolute garbage. Those targets, my London lows and sell side liquidity, was met before my macro, and then after that price was just choppy and disgusting. So there was no trades. I think there was one trade which was a break even, I believe, or something like that. We'll go over it. It's in the screen recording. So yeah, so if you're looking for some money made or not, spoiler alert, there's no money made. So you see me there, I typed that we wait for the 9:45 macro now. So I come on 9:40, I'm marking out the 9:30 fair value gap. This is sped up obviously because there was a lot of choppy price action which didn't go anywhere. So I'm marking out the 9:30 fair value gap. As you can see here, we swept London lows, but we still haven't tapped into that sell side. So my bias is still short to tap into that sell side because we swept London lows here. We haven't on London on ES, and I'm expecting at least the sell side to be swept on NQ. And so my target is still bearish, but I see macro hits 9:45. There's no clear entry for me, to be honest. Like, just too choppy. I'm looking through time frames. It's not nice. I don't feel confident just entering short here off of this fair value gap in the 9:30, simply because of this wiki price action, which, you know, price could go without me, and I understand that potentially happening, but I'm just not confident in taking this short. So this sell side is swept without me, right? Right here, and then ever since that, just price action is just dog shit. So I'm gonna take you guys through the time frames and how I don't FOMO into a trade and how I'm waiting very patiently for something that I'm confident in. So now that my target is swept, now we have a lot of trailing buy side, which you'll see in a bit, that now my target is bullish. So I'm looking for some sort of SMT, which does happen. So NQ sweeps that sell side, ES doesn't, right? ES only sweeps that London low. So we do have that higher time frame SMT, which I don't mark out because I'm too lazy to do so. So that sell side, you see it's not met on ES, but it's met on NQ. So that is a higher time frame SMT. From here, I'm bullish, right? But I need to see signs that I'm bullish, right? I need to see something to aid my bullish bias now because I switched it. So my bearish bias is met. Now we have a lot of trailing buy side, which is logical to see price come up and sweep it. So for me to turn bullish now, I want to see some structure to the downside and then impulse up. Or if we impulse from here, I want to see us impulse above the 9:30 fair value gap, right? Which you'll see here, we have a big ass candle to the upside, but I don't trust it because of my chart experience. Like these moves, not having an impulse above the 9:30 value gap and then having one just below it. Like here you see me zoom out and it looks very clean, but here I'm just looking to enter and you see me putting my long position, but I don't end up entering because we never really close above it with an impulse. We closed below it with an impulse. You see how it kind of closed right now. We just barely close above it, and for my chart experience, I want to see us, like if this closed like this, I would have entered this right here. But because we don't, like you'll see how we will close in a bit. So we close like this, and I don't trust that. I don't like it. I want to see us impulse above, so I never end up entering this position, and I'm glad that I didn't. So again, that goes to show you that just enter something that you're confident in. Even if I end up entering, example here, for example, instead of here, right? For me to enter something that I'm more confident in, that has a higher probability of playing out in my direction, it's just worth it instead of just entering here because of FOMO and then getting stopped out. So you'll see me, right? I'm waiting, confident, patient, sorry. Waiting for us to come back up, impulse above this 930 value gap and above this high, and then I'll look to enter. But here, I just don't like how we impulsed below the 930 value gap and didn't really close confidently above with an impulse, right? Like this wiki, and then we come down, not nice. So here, I'm like kind of still waiting for this fair value gap to hold and then for us to impulse back up, which never happens. If that happens, I would have entered, but it didn't happen. So I don't enter this long, and then from here, price is just disgusting. But again, this is a very nice example, very nice day to show you how to be patient and not really FOMO in this kind of choppy price action. I do end up taking one position later on, and that is exactly what I just outlined. We were up here, and so logically on a good day, which today was clearly not, you would sweep this buy side because there's a lot of trailing liquidity right here. A lot. Like you see this? That is the same on QLC. You'll see it in a bit. But because today was just so garbage, it didn't sweep. And so I got stopped out just under break even. And I'll show you in a bit. And I wasn't oversizing because it was that shit of a day. Like I understood that. And I was trailing my stop loss pretty heavily because I was like, this is just too bad. If I want to be on side, I want to be on quick. I don't want this top price action because like here, like I'm already noticing that after this main sell side sweep, like there's a lot of wiki price action. Like I'm noticing that. And if price wants to go, it would already probably be where it wants to be. Like it's already 10:03. We're approaching the end of the macro. So here in a second, so just waiting. Right, I'm not confident in shorts. Why? Because my short target is already met. It's very important. So I'm not really confident in a short, even though ES still does have sell side lower. I'm still not confident because my main target, my low hanging fruit sell side target has been met. So I don't want to be bearish anymore. All right, I'm looking to be bullish. Like see, I'm coming back up to the higher time frames, kind of aiding what I just said. See, so we swept this low and then we tap into that gap because this, I'm treating this as a breakaway gap, right? So if I'm bearish, we shouldn't really be tapping into it. We're approaching end of macro, so this to me just looks way too consolidating. Like we have this breakaway gap which should not be tapped into, especially after all this. So not taking this short because don't like how price tapped into that fair value gap, which is a breakaway gap after sweeping a low. Would rather stay out of it. So I don't mind if price dropped. This is just, again, I'm not confident in taking this kind of short. So I waited out, and then macro ends, and I come back at second macro, and then that's where I end up taking that long, which ended up in a very, very small loss. You'll see in a bit, it's like $50 or something, which is basically break even. I didn't even risk much on that trade because it was just not the best price action. So yeah, here macro ends, and then right away, as soon as I noticed that macro's done, I'm like, yeah, I'll come back. See, I noticed here that macro's over, and then immediately macro's over, wait for second macro, right? And then I cut the chart and then come back at 10:42. See that? And now we're up here. We have all this trailing sell side, so this is disgusting right off the bat, but we have all this trailing buy side, and we're already up here. We're above the 930 value gap on both ES and NQ. So I'm like, you know what? If you get a retrace to here, I'll try to enter longs. We don't get it, so let me speed this up a little bit. So you see me kind of putting that long thing, but we don't get it, and then we make a new high with a fair value gap. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. Put a very tight stop loss below the order block, entry on that fair value gap, and then TP at that buy side liquidity, which is, there's a lot of trailing buy side. So as soon as we tap it, I enter 5 contracts, 5 micros, and then you can see the risk already is like nothing. What's that risk? $90, right? To make 452. So it's like a 5.5, 6 hour trade. We come up, we make a new high. I move to break even, or not break even, I move to this low immediately, which is now like $50 of risk, because again, this is very shit price action, right? I'm noticing that from the first day in macro. So I'm like, if we're gonna hit TP, I want speed. I'm not looking to be in this for too long, right? just it's not the best condition. Even though like on a normal day, this looks very nice for a trade, right? We have a lot of buy side liquidity. We're making new highs. We're respecting this fair value gap, so it looks beautiful. But because again, just this day was just off. So new high, moving to structure, and then this is like $62 of risk now, and then that gets stopped out. And yeah, so we respect it initially. I think that we're gonna go up, but we don't do that, and then I get stopped out in a second. Yeah, here, look at that. I'm very glad that I got stopped out right before that wick. Like, look, I got stopped out here, and then right like a second after, we have this wick. If I got stopped out, like if I had my stop loss here, I would have gotten way bigger of a stop, because this wick happened out of nowhere. So I was very glad that I got stopped out before. So yeah, still second hand macro. It's I'm like, right, we come back, we tap into the 930 value gap. If I see an impulse up, I'll maybe think of entering, but we never really get that, and we just consolidate, and then we come back down below the 930 value gap. And at this point, we have like we have no SMT. Like we didn't even sweep on ES. This high is this high. On neither did we sweep, and then we come back down. So at this point, we're clearly being held in this range, right? We have all this sell side and sell side lower on ES. We have all this buy side on both. There's no SMT. So at this point, I'm like, all right, we're definitely in the range, and I'm not looking to trade anything until we leave this range, which I end up trading nothing the entire day. So yeah, so that's kind of the thought process of the whole thing. So you'll see me type out in a bit that, yeah, now I acknowledge that we're just in a range, and I'm not looking to trade anything until we sweep one or the other. Like until we sweep the buy side and look to target the sell side, or we sweep the sell side and look to target the buy side. Like until we do something, I'm not looking to trade. So yeah, that's kind of the thought process that I went through during this session, and it was a very good kind of learning session, because it was very consolidated, and like it shows you how to not FOMO, into how to not just take something that you're confident in, right? So at this point, we'll wait for us to get out of this range we are in. Until then, I'm just not interested, and then I cut it there, right? So that's gonna be it. Hope you guys found this insightful for someone who really wants to kind of learn the thought process of from top to down. When we say top down analysis, kind of the whole thought process of the whole thing, kind of what I do pre-session, and then when the market opens, and then during the market as candles print, like what my thought process is and what I'm looking for. My initial target was London lows. It got swept before my macro, so now I'm looking, and we have logical buy side liquidity. Like we have a lot of trailing sales buy side liquidity that is, you know, a potential target. So now I'm looking for something to aid an entry to that buy side liquidity. I'm not just switching my bias based off nothing, right? We are already higher time frame bullish. We take that short term sell side that I have marked out as a target. We have a higher time frame SMT, right, where ES didn't sweep that sell side, NQ did. So everything is aligning, right? But just what wasn't aligning was just today was just garbage price action for some reason. So it is what it is. Again, hope you guys found this insightful for someone who wants to learn the thought process. If you want pre and post session analysis for free on Discord for NASDAQ, I post my free analysis for NASDAQ every single day on my Discord for free. So if you want to join that, feel free to do so. Also, I have my one-on-one private mentorship. So if you're starting out or struggling with trading, I do have that. So if you're interested, book your call for free with me. The link for that call is in the description. Calendar link is in the description. Book your call, and we will discuss it out. So yeah, that's going to be it. Until next time, guys, stay safe and happy trading.